My friends, we've got a lot of nonsense to cover today. So how about we start with this? It's another university professor. Don't ask me how I find them, but I do. It's either that I find them randomly, or it's literally the devil that is sending me these links from hell to persecute me, and I will debunk each and every single one of them. Marriage promotes white supremacy, according to a white university professor. Let's have a drink, shall we? Do you remember when we reacted not so long ago to that feminist article that was talking about how we need to dismantle marriage because marriage is bad and all that stuff? And then people in the comments were like, but why do you care about a random Redditor or a random idiot who writes articles? This is a university professor. Can we care about that now? Marriage What? Marriage fundamentalism, like structural racism, is a key structuring element of white heteropatriarchal supremacy, professor says. So marriage fundamentalism is great. Like structural racism, apples and pears, is a key structure. Why would you use structure twice in a row? This is bad writing already. Heteropatriarchal supremacy. Marriage fundamentalism promotes the idea of white supremacy, according to a white George Mason University professor. Personally, I mean, who cares the ethnicity of the professor in question? But I mean, I guess white liberal women are the ones that hate white people the most. I do believe that there is some scientific numerical statistics. We've got math on this statement. Professor Bethany Letiek wrote in the Journal of Marriage and Family about her theory. Look, this already, we're having a problem. Because theory, at least within science, is a very high level. Like on top of it, it's more than a hypothesis, but it's less than a law. But theory is still quite high. So since this is an academic, is this a theory? No, this is a rambling. Marriage fundamentalism can be understood as an ideological and cultural phenomenon where adherents espouse. Ooh, I love the pun. I mean, I understand that to become a professor, you must probably put hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, but well spent, my friends, because look at this. It's a cultural phenomenon where adherents espouse the superiority of the two-parent married family, she wrote. Well, it is superior. 100% is superior. What are we even talking about? Are we trying to say now that if you have a husband and a wife and they get married, and the husband is like, you know what, I'm done with you, I don't give up, he just abandons them, that's a equally fruitful and happy family? For the kids, for the spouse, now the wife has to provide, the husband has ran away. I don't get it. But it is also a hidden or unacknowledged structural mechanism of white heteropatriarchal family supremacy. Man, I never thought I would have said these, how many words? These 4 words in a row in my entire life. White heteropatriarchal family supremacy that is essential to the reproduction and maintenance of family inequality in the United States. See, here's the problem. Began correctly in the sense that when you make a statement, any statement, whether it be whatever hypothesis you have, whatever thinking you have, talking about marriage fundamentalism, the first thing you should do is define what marriage fundamentalism is, because generally speaking, people don't use the word fundamentalist right next to the concept of marriage now, do we? So you do use the word fundamentalist, for example, right next to religions, for instance, Islam, to mention one, of course, Christianity. Anything can be fundamentalist when it comes to that. But generally speaking, marriage isn't a religion. It is religious as a practice. There is also the secular variety. We can agree or disagree on that, doesn't matter. But she started correctly by defining this. Problem is that her definition is nothing. It's like, that's what I want to think. It's nothing. If you're enjoying this video so far, please take a moment to check out my Patreon page. With as little as a $5 support, you can help us ensure that we can continue to produce high quality and high researched content. And at the same time, you get access to polls, extra videos, unlisted streams, and much more. Thank you so much. Anyways, I would say then that I'm absolutely a marriage fundamentalist, and I totally adhere with the concept of espousing the superiority of the two-parent marriage family. Thank you. I do. Absolutely. So I'm a fundamentalist, guys. Let's go. Reproduction and maintenance of family inequality. Here is what I try to understand when I try to figure this out, but because the reality is that this is all buzzwords to really foster an anti-white sentiment. In reality, it's probably anti-Christian sentiment. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just anti-traditional family units, and then they're trying to push the alternative family unit. I imagine that's what it is, with quite a lot of anti-white sentiment in there. That's, I think, is the focus of this, and it's quite obvious, it's blatant. But there might be some anti-Christian sentiment too. A strong, functional family with two parents who love their kids and reproduce is fostering inequality. What this would mean is that to combat inequality, we need to what? Split the family, make sure you do not reproduce. If you're white, I guess, how does it work? Lettick is an associate professor in the College of Education and Human Development at George Mason University. Not a TikToker now, is she? Specializing in the utilization of community-based participatory action research approaches, anti-racist research methods. Okay, so I do not know what this is, but it's an anti-racist. Now, the word anti-racist is a red flag now. Congratulations. Because in theory, anti-racist up to the 90s, 80s, 90s, it was like, yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm anti. Even if I don't usually use words that define myself like that, but if I'm one in 1993, the professor explained in the article that she's a white, I refuse to say this word, woman, currently living with my partner, already another red flag, and co-raising our children in a committed heterosexual union outside the institution of marriage. Okay, now, here's the thing. As a Christian man, I would strongly encourage anyone to please get married. Please get married and then have the kids. With that being said, this is your, in a free society. You don't have to live according to my way of living. They want to have kids outside of marriages. They want to stay together and live together and not get married. At the end of the day, it is objectively a worse situation, because at least if you get married from a secular perspective, because I mean, if you're not Christian, I don't want you to take the sacrament of the marriage. It's for people with faith in a Christian church. But you can get married secularly, and at least there is a certain level of boundaries and a certain level of, like, for instance, for inheritance, if some of the spouses dies, there are some safe nets when it comes to all that kind of stuff. When you're committed to a person, you really love each other, I think it's good to get married, personally. Now, you want to be all extravagant, do whatever you want. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not like I'm coming with the police to force you to live your life according to my positions and ideas. In the article, Letchik said she drew upon critical feminist and intersectional frameworks to delineate an overarching orientation to structural oppression and an equal power relationship that advantages white heteropatriarchal nuclear families and marginalizes others as a function of family structure and relationship status. Word salad. Then again, do you remember when at the beginning I said last time we talked about this and I read an article and it was from a feminist position? It's the same thing. They want the nuclear family destroyed. That is because if you destroy the family, you destroy the state. Because the family is the foundation of society as we know it. And when you destroy the family, when you attack the family, you annihilate the pillars that keep everything up in a society that is as just as we can make it to be. I personally do not use the justice system, I say the legal system, because anything that we do as humans is going to have injustice, but it is a duty, I think, to try and reach the most just society that we can. Not easy, because we all think differently. She argued that colonization, man, every buzzword. I told you this is going to go against Christianity, because she's literally using every buzzword ever to virtue signal to the radical left. Anyways, since colonization, marriage fundamentalism has been instantiated through laws, policies, and practices to unduly advantage, what is this again? White heteropatriarchal nuclear family, WHNFs. Man, that's never going to be a thing, you know that, right? While simultaneously marginalizing black, indigenous, immigrant, mother-headed, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning, families, among others. You didn't put the asexuals here. You're marginalizing them. What about Asians? Why black, indigenous, but not Asian? What are the Asians? I also don't understand it because there are a lot of black families that are specifically traditional nuclear families. So how is that marginalizing them? I don't get it. Indigenous, have you ever seen a policy that specifically says if you're a Native American, don't you dare getting married? Or if you're Native American, you're only allowed one child. If you're white, you can have as many as you want. Have you ever seen that? Because these people live in fantasy land. Mother-headed. Once again, I'm not sure what this means, where she's trying to go with that. And when it comes to all the rest, gay, lesbian, it's legal for gay people to get married in this country. So what is she even on about? How about you complain about countries such as Iran? Because as far as I understand, not only it's not legal there, but women are oppressed. They can't even show their hair. They get beaten to a pulp if they do. And gay people are thrown off the 9th floor. But hey, the problem is heteropatriarchal nuclear families, am I right? As far as I know, in this country, you can get married if you're gay. Personally, when it comes to secular or, say, I don't know, pagan marriage, whatever the heck it is, I don't even care. As long as they don't try to push it into the Christian faith, because then it's a resounding no. Never. But if it's a secular marriage, I personally don't care, because these are the laws of the land, whatever. Letiek concluded by calling for family scientists. What is a family scientist? Excuse me. What's a family scientist? Further interrogate how marriage fundamentalism reproduces family inequality in American family life and to work towards its dismantling. Never will we let you do that. Ever. Because they destroy the country from its very core. And we're not going to let you do that. She shouldn't even have this teaching position. That's the reality, though. Unbelievable. A deeper understanding of how these complex and often covert mechanisms of structural oppression. Oh, yeah, you're so oppressed. Never mind the women in Iran. With, by the way, you've seen like the situation, women in Iran taking the clothes off, not in a only fun sense, but women in Iran, I understand it. I 100% understand it. And all these liberals like her are like, why are you getting undressed like that? That's shameful. But then they support you if you're a sex worker. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Those women are oppressed. Women in the West are not oppressed. I do not believe the women, they have been oppressed before. There are situations in history where it's like objectively, I mean, there is no other way to see it. Also because men have power. Men hold power. It is the natural way of the world, at least when it comes to our species. There are other species where the female is 7 times the size of the male. In those situations, I would say that the male is probably oppressed. But in our species, men hold the power. Men have the strength. Men have authority over women. It's a fact. And the reality is that in the past there were situations where women were oppressed, absolutely. But these days, how? Like, you'll have to explain to me how you're still saying you're oppressed as a woman, unless you're talking about situations like someone who identifies as a woman but is 3 times your size and punches you in the face during a boxing match. Then maybe we can talk. Specific individual cases, sure. But in general, how oppressive is it? Like, is my wife oppressed? Because right now she's downstairs playing with her Switch. And I want her to do that. She doesn't have to work. She already took care of the house and she cooked lunch. We had a fantastic lunch. Now she's free the entirety of the day. She can do whatever she wants. And I'm more than happy to do 3 jobs as needed so that she can stay home with the kids. Oh my gosh, she's so oppressed. She can do whatever she wants. She's enjoying the new Pokemon game. She freaking loves it. And she can do it. She used to have to work, and she hated every second of it. She did it. And then I told her, you know what? You hate it. You're getting stressed. Your supervisor is mistreating you every day. You can't even... It's terrible. It was awful the way she was treated. I told her, just don't worry about it. Leave it. And she's like, what do we do with money? Oh, don't worry about it. I'll post more. I'll double my workload. Not a problem. I'm a man. I'll do it. That's what I do. And she did. And she hasn't been... She's happy. But I'm sure that according to this clown... she's oppressed. See, please don't turn these words into red flags too. Marriage scholar Brad Wilcox told the College Fix that he disagreed with thank you, marriage scholar, thank you, appreciate. I was scared already because I'm like, ooh, marriage scholar, what is he gonna say? No, seems like this guy's legit. Explaining marriage as an institution that has advanced the common good in civilization across the globe? Of course. Absolutely. Why do you think a concept of marriage independently rose in pretty much every civilization on the planet? Complete different languages, complete different cultures, separately, independently, coincidentally, if you will, with different cultural backgrounds, religions, everything different. And yet the one thing that we see almost ubiquitously is the concept of marriage. We know is as ancient as it gets. It is clearly a net positive to create security, to make it serious, to make it real, to give protections to both, to the spouse, to the kids, to the children, but in general also and this is, I guess, a religious spin, but a lot of marriage is religious in its foundations anyways, even though we now have we could say secular marriage, but ancient marriage has always been religious, whether it be Akkadians or whether it be Babylonians or whether it be whatever the heck. The idea is also because it's a way to kind of grow together, also spiritually. It's a way to commit in front of the God you worship. There is a lot to it. I think it's a beautiful institution, personally. Now, does it fail? Yes, because we are imperfect. But sometimes it doesn't. And when it doesn't, in fact, the majority, when it does, although then again these days, but when it doesn't, I mean, when it does function properly, then the children are happy. When marriages are broken, children are, you can tell. And so there has to be a reason. It cannot be a statistical chance, just a matter of chance that when you have a solid, strong foundation in a proper marriage benefits children, yes, of all racial and ethnic backgrounds. Exactly. The University of Virginia sociologist and director of the National Marriage Project said he's absolutely right. American Principles Project leader Terry Schilling told the outlet that the article suggests far-left academics are ramping up their attacks on the family, the most important institution in society. They are right. They're absolutely right. Although the social science on these immense benefits of strong, intact families is unimpeachable, this author simply waves them away. Yeah, because they're not professional. You see, when professors are activists like this, as far as I'm concerned, they should be fired. If they say this stuff on their own, either private network or even in public, but like on their X account, on their Blue Sky, on their swamp of Reddit, then it's their freedom and I don't care, as long as they keep that out of the classrooms. Then whatever, I don't care. It's your freedom to believe whatever you want, but if you do your job right professionally in your position at university, then I wouldn't have a problem with that. But because of the fact that they specifically make use of their degrees, of their positions of power and authority to propagate their anti-scientific and unacademic takes that are absolutely purely political and they are a form of propaganda, then they should be fired and their titles should be stripped. Oh, you have a PhD? Not anymore. Invalid. Stamped by the government. That's what I would do. Open quotes. We need to be doing what we can right now to shore up the family, not tear it down. Absolutely, he added. Otherwise, our society won't be reproducing much of anything in the very near future. Yeah, I mean, sure. Absolutely. So that's the latest nonsense from big shot professors at academia. I don't know what to tell you, but it looks like the world is getting worse with each passing day. Look at the picture. Look at the picture. I mean, guys, I know we're not supposed to judge people by their looks. I get it. But I'm not judging her on her looks. I'm judging her on her facial expression. You can tell what I read a second ago has this face, has this look. Bolster white supremacy. Now, you know what bolsters white supremacists? Radicals like you. Because then people are disgusted by the likes of you so much that they get radicalized on the opposite side. And you know me, I'm going to tell it for how it is. Marriage fundamentalist.